Jai Gurudev, David, hello. I hope you are feeling good. Now I have to make little parts because of this YouTube business. Now I want to talk about transcending. I always thought transcending comes from the Latin word transcendere. My old, 85 years, my old psychology professor, William Salber, when I studied in the 60s, I studied psychology. He told me 2 years ago or a year ago, the word transcendere the word transcend doesn't come from transcendere. He knows this because he is from a AAA school, Kaiser Karl Gymnasium in Aachen. Very, very humanistic education. He said this word transcendere is a modern word for Latin. The old Latin word means transcandere, and this means to climb over things upwards, to climb upwards. Trans, over, scandere, climbing, to climb upwards. And in this word transcandere, there is the German word skandieren, which means to chant, to say words very precisely. Transcandere. So where do we climb upwards? In the wholeness, we always have opposite values, dual opposite values of yes and no and right and wrong and good and bad and all this. To transcend means we climb over the dual values and find the unification which is above them. So once we have reached the unification of the dual values and enjoy this, we will find an opposite value of this unification. We become angry and say, oh, this is no good. And then when we erleben these two opposite values, we transcend them again and climb over this dual value into a new unification above them. And then again the same story. We enjoy the unification and then we find out, oh, there is an opposite value. And then again we climb over it. And while doing this, our psychic frame, which is narrowing the psychic production which is always working inside of us, this frame becomes larger. So we do not enlarge consciousness, because consciousness is an absolute word which cannot be enlarged and nobody knows what it is. But we have a frame, a framing in our psychic activity. And this frame becomes larger. So more things are thinkable, more things are feelable, and more visions are possible. So, to enlarging the psychic frame, this is what is necessary for education. This is what is necessary for life. This is what the old sage Brigu said on the question what one has to do. What is Dharma? He said Dharma is Nirva Tattvam, transcend. climb over the dual values and find the unification. Again, see the dual values and climb to the new unification. And this goes on and on and on infinitely. And this we train during TM. In TM we have dual situations. We start with the mantra, beautiful. We think we have unification in the mantra. Then there are other thoughts coming. Whatever. One thinks about the tax authorities or nice girls or whatever. New thoughts coming. Then we have this duality, mantra and thoughts. So what do? The thing is, we come back to the mantra, so new unification. And this coming back to the mantra means we reach finer level of psychic activity where there is a unification. In this new level of unification where we are with the mantra, final level of mantra, another thought comes up, or we hear something, or whatever is happening, again duality. Again we come back on a final level of the mantra, again unification. And this we do on and on until finest level of mantra will be transcended and there is no content. It is a content state of living, and this contentless state of living is very interesting, because when there is no content in a wholeness, then it must be a turning point. And turning point means you go into where there is no content. This is a process like dying, and you come out with a new will, you come out with a new goal, you come out with a new life. And this is what the old philosopher says: die and become new. This is what life is, a process of dying and becoming new. And this is exactly what we do in transcendental meditation. And this is why it is a technique to survive. And life has very many interesting adventures where the main thing is that you survive. Even when you had a mental stroke like I had, and there were only 1 or 2 brain cells left, but it was enough to transcend them into the contentlessness, where something new could start. Okay? Next time we will talk about another item. Jai Gurudev.